I've been ordered to be short this year, you know, after the rosary coming up, so I will be short this year, you know. So I was talking to various people this week, you know, and they were saying, young soldier, 23 years of age, shot in the back and dies on the road at Bessbrook, an hour and 15 or 20 minutes up the road. And the taxi man and a few other people said to me, you know, these people don't listen, people who shoot a soldier in the back. And I was thinking, walking up and down the back there, you know, what sort of a person would shoot a soldier in the back? Well, I would have shot a soldier anywhere that I could have hit him. So what would a person look like who might shoot a soldier or kill a soldier or blow up a soldier? It looked like me, you know. I did shoot at soldiers and blow up soldiers and so on and so forth for nearly 5 years, thinking it was the right thing to do. And I was in an organization composed mainly of Catholics. And we would often be visited in the IRA in Derry or on the border or elsewhere by a priest or a nun or whatever regularly. And it was an organization composed of people like you and me, except that they believed that violence was right and that force was right. And they looked to this country down here and thought, they got their country by force and violence, why shouldn't we, you know, like do the same? So I was thinking to myself this week when all the bad news hit about the young soldier and previously a soldier killed at Thiepval Barracks in Lisburn, and Bernadette McCalloch, you know, daughter in solitary confinement in prison in London and so on, that it mightn't be a bad idea at the Divine Mercy Conference to remind people that people do listen. They mightn't listen if they've got nothing to hear, and if nobody brings them any message, and if nobody passes any message on locally. But I did listen. I had 14 and a half years in prison, and for the first couple of years I wouldn't listen to anybody, but there weren't that many people there trying to talk. But people like Bishop Edward Daly of Derry, now retired, Cardinal O'Fee, Father Fall, and loads of others spent, you know, 10 years when I was in the English prisons visiting me, writing to me, and working very hard on me. And they worked very hard on other people also who were with me, doing sentences of 40 and 50 years. And, you know, people do listen. So I was thinking, in regard to the person who pulled the trigger on the soldier, Stephen Rostrick, and those who helped the kid pull the trigger and supplied the weapon or stored the weapon or gave the money here or in the States that bought the weapon or the bullets. Maybe we should pray for them, for his family, and for all who have suffered. So I was wondering maybe if we just pray the Our Father so that we might all be delivered from evil. Loyalists, Republicans, North, South, East and West, 32 counties. You know, David Trimble, Martin McGuinness, Jerry Adams, pray for the whole lot, Patrick Mayhew, without fear or favor. So maybe we should just pray the Our Father that we should all be delivered from evil. So maybe you'll join me. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. And we offer that prayer for the soldier and for his family. So you can have a seat now. I was going to say, you know, like the good news must be that when I was in prison for 14 and a half years, I saw hundreds of men grow up, wake up, and the shock that I got in solitary confinement in Wormwood Scrubs, where I was naked for 14 and a half months in Wormwood Scrubs, was that in reading the gospel once upon a time, for the first time in my whole life, I suddenly realized that I could be in tune with God or forgiven. And I had no priest there, no Divine Mercy group, no one. And it was just me reading the gospel and feeling that the grace of mercy could reach me directly and forgive me. And it never occurred to me when I was a Derry Brigade explosives officer training people to make bombs and kill people and planting bombs in London and so on that I would ever be standing here. So, you know, the fact is I am here, and there are a lot of other people who could be here whom I know from the UDA and the UVF and the IRA who are now friends of mine. We do talks around colleges or universities together. So the hope should be that many people could be here next year and the year after and the year after. And perhaps, I would imagine I would imagine, that we should always contradict the people who say they'll never listen, because people do listen, but often they don't hear any message because we haven't gotten off our backsides to give them any message. So in fact, we should be, rowing the boat ashore as well as praying, but also praying for these people. Maybe we should include the North in our prayers more often, not just once a year or twice a year when we hear bad news. And I'd like to, to put you in mind of some of the people who worked very hard on long-term prisoners to change their mind. For instance, the many mothers who've spent 14 or 15 or 16 years traipsing up to the prisons, the chaplains in the prisons who've been working with these men for 15, 16, 17, 18 years, saying Mass every week, sometimes nobody turning up because some churchman said something that people disagreed with. And so they don't turn up at Mass one day, and then another week when everybody will turn up because they've had some bad news during the week about a relative or something dying. So maybe we should consider in our prayers those people working closely with long-term prisoners who are UDA and UVF and IRA. Remember them in our prayers, the chaplains, the sisters, the relatives, the mothers who pray very hard for 15 or 20 years. Maybe we should consider them as worthy of our prayers here today. So I was thinking that maybe we should, that I should shut up this year, having talked at length last year, and just remind you of my example, somebody who did bomb and shoot for 5 years, was rewarded for this by the IRA by being made a Derry Brigade explosives officer, left this city in 1973 to go and bomb London alone with a knapsack full of explosives and detonators, bombed London for a whole summer, got bombs into 10 Downing Street and so on, hurt a lot of people along the way, innocent people as well as people we saw as like legitimate targets and so on. And I did it up and down Ireland, along the border, firing off 1,000-pound landmines. I knew all the people in the IRA who were doing the same thing at the time, and I still know people who are doing the same thing in the IRA, and there's no reason, that they should not be here. So maybe we should offer the rosary, in which Dawn will lead us, and the Mass for all who have suffered and all who should be delivered from evil, Protestant, Catholic, good, bad, and ugly. See you again next year.